And since then I haven't, and it's been a few months. So maybe, today I would have to revise that to no opinion, but I can't speak to what I was thinking at the time I filled that out.
I mean, was there something specific in the news at that time that made you think of, can you think of what was in the news that made you think that police departments cover up excessive force claims?
I can't recall. I couldn't tell you.
Okay. Fair enough. You also indicated that your fiance has some medical training. She's a physical therapist.
Yes.
And so kind of along those same line of questions that we were talking about earlier, let's say you're listening to some expert testimony here in this case, and they're talking about restraints or various medical things involving asphyxia. Okay? Would you rely on the evidence you hear in court, or would you go home and say, honey,
this is what we're talking about. There were two questions in the questionnaire about, I'd like to expand on a little more, about Black Lives Matter and Blue Lives Matter. With respect to Black Lives Matter,
indicated that you viewed that organization in a somewhat favorable light, and with respect to Blue Lives Matter, you indicated that it was somewhat unfavorable, in your opinion.
Can I get a clarification? So Black Lives Matter, does it specifically say
organization? If that's the case, it doesn't specifically say the question, but your response
was, I don't love, underline the organization itself, parenthetical to extreme.
Yeah, well, sorry, that was louder. I don't love the Black Lives Matter organization. I do support the movement, or at least this is, I want to make sure because this is nuanced, but I support that, the message that every life should matter equally. I don't believe that the organization
Black Lives Matter necessarily stands for. Blue Lives Matter.
Counter to the Black Lives Matter. Can you expand on that?
I think that I don't really see it as a counter, and that's why I see it as unfavorable, because I don't see the two as mutually exclusive. I don't see why the counter to Black lives should matter the same as all lives would be police lives matter too, because in my opinion, the whole point of that is all lives should matter equally, and that should include police.
Do you think that the two, you indicated you don't think that the two are mutually exclusive, so in other words, both and, right?
I suppose, sure.
There's a question about, in the questionnaire, about evaluating graphic photographs or video, and you wrote, I could handle it, but due to the weight of the jury process, I'm willing to be made uncomfortable. Can you just explain that a little broader?
Yeah, I mean, I don't go out of my way to watch or look at graphic things, but again, when I'm summoned for jury duty, whether it would be this case or another case, I think I value the importance of that duty over my personal comfort.
Right. So let me, the last question in the questionnaire is about whether you want to serve as a juror in this case? You checked yes, and then with an explanation, why do you feel, and I liked your response that you feel that serving on a jury is a civic duty, you want to contribute, and you think you'd be good and fair and impartial, which I'm getting that sense. But let me ask you that same question in a slightly different way, if that's okay. There are some people who respond to the jury process in an effort to intentionally get themselves off of the jury. And there are other people who respond to jury questionnaires or jury some particular belief or cause. Would you describe yourself as either of those?
My answers were truthful. Okay. That's how I would describe my answers.
Fair enough. Your Honor, if I may have just a moment to confer.
Yeah.
Mr. Slisher, it's getting close to our morning break. How long do you think? Should we take it now, or?
Let's go now, Your Honor. I won't be too long.
You would like to examine now?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you, Your Honor. Juror number 2, you described your work and training in science as a passion. Can you please expound on that a little bit?
Sure. I guess I've always felt I had kind of an analytical mind. I excelled in science classes, math classes when I was younger, and kind of always viewed life through that lens, I guess you could say. I think integrity I guess that's the word, is integrity is important, and it's easy for me to use that value or apply that value to my work, which is something that I like.
And did you say that your background is environmental studies, or that's your degree?
My degree is environmental studies and chemistry. It's a combined degree.
All right. And tell me how you use your environmental studies degree in your current job, or if you do.
I do, yeah. I work in a laboratory that does environmental sample analysis. I'm not sure how specific I should be, but I guess it doesn't matter, right?
Don't name the employer, but just tell me what your day-to-day job is like without
Sure.
disclosing who you work for or exactly.
Yeah, that's fine. I receive samples that have been shipped into the company, and I test them for a wide slate of contaminants that are either environmentally concerning or dangerous to worker hygiene. And I also do, the company I work for produces products, and I do specific testing on them to make sure that they won't be harmful to the environment.
And so as a person who tests products on behalf of an employer who makes such products, sometimes I'm assuming you get a test result that could go one way and one that could go another. Is that right?
Sure.
And the employer wants to know the information as it is. They don't want you to massage it one way or the other. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay. And so part of your job is to be an objective fact finder, I guess, every day. Is that right?
Yes.
Can you tell me a little bit about the camp that you worked for as a counselor? I was interested in hearing that.
Sure. Yeah, it was a summer camp through my childhood synagogue in a western suburb. I worked there for like 7 summers. Started as a counselor, worked as an advocate, working one-on-one with campers that needed additional help, and then worked as a senior staff member designing programming.
Yeah. What age children are you working with?
It was K through 6.
You also mentioned that you and your fiance were interested in moving to the area of 38th and Chicago, or at least that neighborhood. Is that right?
Neighborhoods in that region. It was a broad search.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you just describe what interested you in that particular area or those neighborhoods?
We were looking mostly in near the lakes down there, Lake Nokomis, Lake Hiawatha, just because we're active and wanted to be near, the creek, wanted to be near the lake, somewhere we could bike, walk our dog, and they had a good sense of community there, which was important to us.
You described yourself as enjoying outdoor activities, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Can you please expound on that a little bit? What kind of activities are you interested in?
I play ultimate frisbee in the summers. I go backpacking and hiking probably between 5 and 10 times a year, depending on the weather and the pandemic. That's the gist of it. We do a lot of biking around the city when we have the chance to in the summer.
Speaking of the pandemic, you see that we've taken some steps here to ensure social distancing and masking requirements and whatnot. Do you feel comfortable with the precautions that have been taken here?
Yes.
Do you think they're appropriate?
Yes, sure.
Given the pandemic?
Yeah, I think safety should be important for everybody involved here. Sure.
All right. I appreciate you answering my questions today. Thank you very much.
Cast for cause? All right. Okay, juror number 2. You will be on this jury. And so we're going to have you return on March 29th at 9 a.m. because we're not going to start evidence or anything else. Again, you're not an investigator. Do not go and investigate. Try and avoid all media coverage of this case. And if there's any change in schedule, as you've already noticed from yesterday and today, some things happen. But we're pretty confident that we'll be able to start March 29th at 9 a.m. And so I would ask you to report at 9 a.m. Make sure you're up here by 9 a.m. And you'll be taken to the back to the courtroom that you're lounging in, and then we will call you in when the appropriate time is ready. Do you have any questions about that?
I'm not sure if you're able to answer this question.
I'll tell you if I can.
Yeah. What kind of information am I able to disclose to, say, my employer?
What you should tell them is that you have been selected as a juror on a criminal case, and that the anticipated time that you will need that week and the following 3 weeks, so 4 weeks total.
Okay.
And that's what you should tell them.
All right, thank you.
All right, with that, I would ask that you leave the yellow lanyard with the card on the witness stand.
Okay.
But make sure you keep your letter.
He needs a lanyard too. He has to keep the lanyard.
We changed it.
Okay.
We're changing things on the fly. We're going to keep the lanyard. You're going to be reissued it when you come in on March 29th.
Okay.
But the one thing you do have to keep is that letter that has the sticker and your number on it, because that, as you probably already found out, is how you get in. So make sure you keep that safe and bring it with you on March 29th. Okay? Any other questions?
No, thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, you can go with the deputy. All right, we're going to take our morning recess. We'll convene back here at 11:10. I note the Supreme Court asked for response to the PFR by today at 5 o'clock, so I don't know if the state needs, I assume that's being taken care of by those not in the courtroom. All right, thank you all. See you in 11:10. Yep.
What was it? Reflection?
Camera's here. It's just the angle. Let's get your number 3.